All right. Tuesday, start of a new event. This is a completely new thing they're trying, and crystal event. So, what do we know about crystal events? During the crystal event, there's a massively simplified pack. Instead of gathering runes, you're going to get dust. Crystal events will be here for 1 week. Runes will return next week, so take the opportunity. Starting this week, the past Ultimate 4s will feature Ultimate Heroes and Ultimate Relics that match the affinity and the edge skill of the current event. Timeless Lovers, Guardians of Islons, and then the Heartstopper's Bow and the Ice Tech Shredder. I have all these except for the Heartstopper's Bow. I did not get a second relic, so I do not know how well this will work for me, but we will find out. So, with this being said, to craft a ultra rare or a master collection, they are making you spend the 2.4k dust required to make each rune. So 6 runes at 2.4k dust, that's 16.8 thousand dust. Now there's a catch. It is on a luck system. So I have been all over Facebook, posting, watching, and looking. And as of right now, I have seen someone on tier 4 pull 2. Oh no, I'm sorry, tier 6. Tier 6 pull 2 Master Collection cards at the same time. So it is perfectly possible to get this. It's a jackpot spin on how much dust you get. I got 36, I believe. 3,600 on tier 1, and I was averaging right around 12 to 1,400 for every tier. So they're kicking some dust out. So since we had the mage deck that threw everything in for a loop, which I knew was going to come up, that happened during the last light affinity event. Or the Light Slayer event, which was the Hellboy event, kind of threw everything for a loop. So, as you see, Iron Spine's Night Horse. That was a commander card. Now is a commander slayer. Anybody who has this card in your inventory or gets this card, I recommend highly, at least in the beginning, you use the shit out of this card. He is going to spawn, if I remember correctly, 6 power gems. Oh, sorry, 4. So right off the bat, he's going to put 4 power gem 1s at the beginning of your turn. Plus, you can use his relic if you have it, which is a little 6-shooter, which is going to give you another power gem 2. So you're going to get 5 power gems right off the start, with all the other Slayer relics that are already available in everyone's inventory. So he's going to go ahead and just help boost everyone's attack damage right off the bat for the first few battles that we go to. Now, as for this card, not a big fan of it. Doesn't really have any type of a skill that's going to be beneficial in any way, shape, or form to this event. Dispel Thorns. Thorns is not an issue that I've seen during this event, so no big deal. And then Sailor's Bane, 3,000. It's a nuke card. Again, Thorns. Again, I don't really think this is going to be that much of a card to use. I mean, if you don't have much, by all means go for it. The other one that I see, and I'm not advocating anyone to spend any money, But if you touch your gems, there is a starter pack. I got the first one. Here's the second one. And this is going to be very similar to what the Hellboy pack was. So these are reforged cards. They are Gen 1 cards that are now reforged to Gen 3. I can show you what the support card did, because I did get it for $4.99. This one's $19.99, so $29.99. So you're at $35, and you can have yourself. You'll basically get yourself like 5 cards and 2 relics, or 6 cards and 2 relics. They're not the most awesome thing in the world, but for those who are starting out, it's a hell of a way to start out. They're very easy to level up. They only require the essences to level up. The relic alone will just go ahead and put gems on the board as a Slayer gem. And then, if I remember correctly, once it's leveled up to a full 6 stars, as long as you have one of those heroes on the board, it'll put a Power Gem 1. Nothing like super special. And then this gentleman will, I think he's a Nuke card. Nope, 3 Power Gem 1s. Dispels Judgment. That's not going to help, but it's, like I said, this is just a starter pack to help people out. This one nukes. Nukes an enemy for 5,000% of the attack, and he changes his counter up by 1, which can be helpful. Siphon, of course, isn't going to help. And then if you go here to should probably be down here. She ended up being a healer and a regular gem spawner. Let's just do it this way. Water, Generation 3. And I can't remember what you were. There she is. Creature. And so she creates 8 water gems and heals for 5,000%. Panic, not going to help you, but I mean, a healer. Something to think about for people who don't have a lot of cards. Like I said, I'm not advocating anyone to spend hard money. This is actual cash, not gems. In no way, shape, or form is this gems. So it is an option to help get some people started with a little help. For those of you that don't have good Gen 3 cards to start off with and would like some. Okay, so on to the deck. For those of you who were here for the last Water Slayer event, this deck is going to look extremely familiar. In fact, this deck is identical except for one thing. They took the nuke damage out and changed the nuke damage to healing. That is it. Nothing else. So, I guess I should have gone back and started with this event card. So, event card. He's going to create 4 Water Gem 1s, and if there's 4 or more Power Gem 4s on the board, instead of doing nuke damage, he's going to heal for 3,000% recovery. Yes! People in the department that make this shit are listening. No nuke damage during Slayer events, unless it's like the Dark Slayer nuke. Then that was phenomenal. Gem Silence. For those of you who don't know what that means, Gem Silence stops everything. So you will not be able to spawn regular gems passively or actively, or power gems. You are locked out from doing anything. This stops all gem making ability. This will stop you dead in your tracks. So this is something that will have to be countered. Iron Spine 9 Night Horse, he does Power Gem Silence, so unfortunately he's not going to help. Otherwise I'd say he's your next best bet. Okay, on to the regulars. This support card is identical to the other support card. dispels chaos. If I remember correctly, so does the other one. When hit by an enemy, this hero creates 5 water gems. Applies Vertosity to 3 water slayers, and then will create 5 water gems for the next time that you are hit by an enemy. Lasts 1 turn. So if we go to cards, go all the way up to team, and I took her out because I don't want her right now. Here she is. And what are we dispelling? Chaos. This time, though, we're only creating 3 gems instead of 5. And this one will also create 3 gems for each water slayer it attacks to. So you're going to get more gems out of the new one. This one only does 3. But other than that, as you can see, this deck's going to be pretty much identical. So for those of you who played this deck, you already know how to play this deck very, very well. Okay, so chaos. So it doesn't matter which support card you use. If you don't get one of these or don't get enough of these, who gives a crap? Chaos. That's what you're after. And we're still, if you use it, it's still a defender skill, is still traitor in GVG. So this, other than it's going to pump out a little more gems, sweet. It's kind of cool. I actually kind of like the fact that they're kept it very, very similar. Because of the way the meta worked in the first one, they were using the sacrificial cards instead of souls. So I did not get to keep the Master Collection card, and I did not get to keep the Ultra Rare when I created the Ultimate form for the, what are they called? The Timeless Lovers. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, so applies Better Together on 3 water slayers, which will create 1 water power gem each time this hero attacks and lasts 1 turn. And every time this hero attacks, creates a power gem 4. Passively, Unbreakable Bond will increase Slayer hero attack by up to 30%. This is a noble killer, where the new one's going to be an immortal killer. Increases Slayer attack. This one dispels might. So if we go back to the store and look at it, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. So this one's going to apply Heartbreaker up to 3 water slayers, which will be up to 1 water slayer per 150 skill points. So as long as you're maxed out, then you put it on 3 water slayers, and we'll create power gems 2s each time when they're hit. And then passively, once per turn, as you do an attack, we'll create 1 power gem 2, and we'll dispel an enemy debuff. I'm sorry, this is an immortal killer. This one dispels traitor. This is a pain in the ass, but you can get around it if you don't actually get it. Not super big deal. Then you get to the MC card, which does the exact same thing, except it creates 4 power gem 4s, and if there are 5 or more power gem 4s on the board, we'll heal for 300% hero recovery. If there are 8 or more water gems on the board, we'll increase Slayer attack by 30%. So if you have this one and the Fallen Lovers, that's going to be I'm assuming they will stack an increased overall Slayer intensity. This one will also dispel Gem Silence. I think pretty close to a quarter of us already have this card alone. So, and then when you mix them together and make the ultimate form, which again is going to be a times 15 instead of a times 13, applies together and last to 3 water slayers at a rate of 1 plus additional 1 per 150 skill points together, and will create 2 2 water power gem 4s and dispel an enemy debuff the next time you hit an enemy, and lasts 1 turn. On the next turn, we'll create 4 water gem 4s, and if there are 4 more power gem 4s on the board, we'll heal for 350% hero recovery. When hit by an enemy, creates 2 water power gem 4s and dispels 1 enemy debuff every time you get hit. If there are 8 or more power gem 4s or 8 or more water gems on the board, will increase your water slayer hero attack by 30%. It passively increases your slayer. The part that sucks is now you're going to be dispelling traitor only. You lost the gem silence, but you are making these with souls. As you can see, it requires a soul. So you're going to keep them in your master collection, and you're going to get to keep your ultra rare. To be perfectly honest, the best solution for this deck is going to be having multiple decks. I will play with this depending on if I get the ultra rare or not. And if I do, then we will go from there. And I will show how the deck building goes. With all events like this, Immortal Killer is going to be what you're going to be using the most. But the Noble Killer, which is what the Timeless Lovers are from the past event, this is going to be used on some of the bosses. So if you have this card, you're going to be, if you have both ultimate forms, you're going to be dealing massive amounts of damage. You're going to be able to wipe the slate clean. It's going to be more important than ever to lock your boss, because with the amount of people that are now pulling these cards the way they are, I can see massive amounts of ultimate form cards going out across, and it's going to be very hard to steal bosses. If you do not get the ultimate form cards, you're going to have your boss stolen from you extremely quickly. So you're going to have to either lock your boss unless you have a UF card to match. I will probably have a deck set up with both the Timeless Lover as an individual, and then a deck with the other card, so that way I have multiple decks to go through. Now, with that being said, since Immortal Killer is going to be the killer skill that is required for this event, hopefully everyone's done the update and notices you have 15 slots. Recommend when you start using them a little bit more and start building. So, if you got this ultimate form card, this is going to be basically used for your frenzy bosses. Lo and behold, this is an Immortal Killer. So this will be used to go up against the blue bosses, and we'll be able to take the blue frenzy bosses out, being that it's still going to be an immortal. They have not released all that information yet, and as soon as they do, I will let everyone know. This is arcane, so it's not going to do much. This one is noble, so we'll see what it does. If I remember correctly. Immortal Killer. So chances are your dark deck will still be very, very valuable if you have the dark deck like this. And then I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one. If you got this one, I'm pretty sure this one was immortal too. Nope, this one's arcane. Nope, arcane killer. So your counterpart was immortal, was it not? Which I don't think anyone got. You're immortal. You're the immortal killer. Okay, so this will still do massive amounts of damage if you have this card. If there's any way you can make the ultimate form version of this card, by all means, you will have a very high advantage of taking out frenzy bosses much faster. That's all the colors. As soon as they announce killer skills, and as soon as they announce the buffs for the frenzy bosses, I will start adjusting decks to compensate, and we will go from there and see how it works. Other than that, that's all I've got. Anyone needs anything else, by all means, feel free to ask, and good luck to everybody.